In this session, you will learn how Amazon's Cosmo is changing the way listings rank, shifting focus from keyword stuffing to intent-driven AI-powered content. From this session, you will also learn how to restructure your titles, bullets, and attributes to stay compliant and send the right signals. My guest today is Jon Tilley from SongGuru. And before we dive into his sessions, let's have Augustus introducing the sponsors of Sellerfest Online.
Thank you, Lisette. So let me introduce the sponsors of this session. The first one is VAA Philippines, provides trained e-commerce virtual assistants for Amazon, Walmart, and other e-commerce sellers. Exit.io, it's a platform for Amazon FBA buyers, sellers, and investors. Ecomc, it's your global Amazon, Walmart, and TikTok growth expert. Optimal AI by Sellerplex is your Amazon advertising analyst. VATAi is an international compliance for e-commerce sellers. They provide VAT compliance, EPR services, and much more. MerchJar is your AI copilot for Amazon advertising. And last but not least, DataHawk. It's an enterprise-grade analytics for Amazon and Walmart sellers.
And now I'm excited to bring Jon here with me. Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, Lisette. How's it going?
Very good. And as always, I'm excited to have you here today with me. Let's do the most important thing first. Before we learn how things are shifting on Amazon and how we should restructure our product listings, could you first introduce yourself and give us a little bit of a background information, what you are doing in Amazon space?
Hey, yeah, thanks, Lisette. It's Jon Tilley, the founder and CEO of SongGuru. We've been around for some time in the Amazon space, and really our main focus is on how we can help you to rank better on Amazon, get more visibility, more traffic, and more conversions. We have a number of tools around that space and a lot of firsts in the space, including the first integration with ChatGPT in our industry. And, you know, we're really here to understand Amazon's algorithm, how it's changing, what you need to do as a seller to really perform and connect with Amazon and get your listings in front of customers. And then how do you measure that performance ongoing and then obviously get alerted to make updates to your listings as you go. So that's really our main focus. We have many other tools that you can use, but mostly it's the SEO focus.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And we're, of course, very eager to learn from you today. And while you're preparing to share your screen with us, I just wanted to remind our viewers that whenever you're watching the session with Jon and have any questions about this topic, then drop them to the chat, because after he finishes presenting, he's going to answer to all of your questions. And as always, if you enjoyed the session and learned something useful, then hit the like button also to show support. And if you're not yet a subscriber, then definitely subscribe to Orange Klik YouTube channel to see similar videos in the future and be ahead of your competition. So I think Jon now is already ready to show the presentation as well. So if you could open up your slides, and then we can show them to our viewers as well. Perfect.
Great. All good?
All good.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, anybody listening, if you have questions, please, you know, put them in the chat. Right now, you know, I can't actually see you guys on that side or the chat. So if you just want to let me know if there are questions that come up, let me know. But otherwise, I'll just jump in and really talk about the topic today. So again, how we've titled this presentation is the Great Amazon Listing Shift from Keyword Stuffed, which is really about ensuring that you had a bunch of keywords in your listings, to the new algorithm, the new intelligent algorithm that Amazon is giving more and more importance to over time, and how do you actually optimize for that algorithm. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And certainly we've got years of experience to back it up, trying to understand how best to optimize your content for the algorithm and get more traffic and conversions. So we're going to jump into that. Yeah, let me know, Lisette, if there's any questions. I'm happy to jump in. I did talk about SongGuru, and you know, I think the main title here is that we are engineered to meet Amazon's AI moment. As you know, AI becomes more and more relevant as a customer experience. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But as AI becomes more important a customer experience as a search experience, how does Amazon meet that moment? And how can you make sure that your listings are featuring the right kind of content to ensure that that is a really good experience for customers, and therefore you get more sales? And we'll jump in and talk about that. Okay, so Lizette, you know this from previous ones. I like to have an unpopular opinion up front, and the one I would have is that listings that crushed it last year are not aligned with Amazon's AI Cosmo and Rufus, and it's a really interesting place right now to track and to see, how is Amazon's algorithm shifting to allow for them to have more of that AI experience with Rufus, as we know, but still making sure that your listings are visible and matching the quality score, right? So it is a really interesting space right now, and certainly more importance is becoming to Cosmo and Rufus as an algorithm. And so I think that the main point here is that the balance between A9, and for those of you that might not know, A9 is really, Amazon's current algorithm, which has had some transitions over time, but essentially it was more about the relevance of the keywords that you had in your listing, and it even got to the point of keyword stuffing, where you put in a whole bunch of keywords into a listing, right? And the algorithm measured and looked at those keywords and then ranked you for it. And how it's shifting from that away to a more intelligent algorithm under Cosmo, and then the answer engine portion of that Rufus, and how it's actually using the structure of your listing, the schema within your listing, to then intelligently map you semantically for the universe of keywords that are out there, and the experiences that are out there, so it can start to really map you for that and ensure that you are visible when customers use the new way of searching for products, which is ultimately things connected with Rufus, and putting in questions or asking for recommendations, and how is that experience engaging for you, as a seller. So that's the big shift that's really happening. And we've looked at that. No one knows exactly what the algorithm is doing, right? It is a black box to literally everyone out there. And if anyone says they know exactly, they don't. But we do get information as a partner of Amazon. They've given out articles, deep technology papers as to how you should be mapping for that algorithm. And of course, we do a lot of reverse engineering as well to see what that looks like. But ultimately where we stand today is about future-proofing your listing. So ensuring that there is A9 relevance, but then you're overlaid with a technical mapping for both Rufus and Cosmo, right? And maybe just to explain a little bit more, if everyone's like, hey, what is Rufus? Like, what is John talking about right now? I think the best way to really explain that is just to compare the experience that you get. Everyone here is engaged with ChatGPT or Perplexity or Google's Gemini. The idea there is that you will type something in and you will get a response, a summarized response, which might have recommendations in there, insights. It's called an AI overview, right? So if you say, hey, I'm looking for a knee brace because I had knee replacement surgery, you're going to get an AI overview that will come back in Google or ChatGPT. It will talk about, hey, like, what are the best recommendations, what you should be looking for. And then ultimately you can get product reviews out of that, right? Or product recommendations out of that. And that's the same thing that Rufus is on Amazon. So if you open up Rufus and you ask the same question, you're going to get similar responses. You're going to get that overview, that summary, insights, recommendations, and then you will get products listed in there as well, right? And I think the important thing is, like, Amazon has to shift and change quickly, because if they don't, they're going to be left behind in what the ultimate consumer shopping experience is going to be, right? And we're already starting to engage with search and responses in that way, and so Amazon has to meet that. Otherwise, they will be left behind and they'll lose that audience. And already we know, like, Perplexity is coming out with a shopping layer. ChatGPT is going to be coming out with that. So, in those things, if the experience isn't relevant, Amazon will potentially be losing a lot of traffic, right? So they've got to adjust quickly. And so I said that the Amazon needs to keep up. And I think, what's interesting there is that it's really a mapping. So there is a technical aspect. So there's a real technical way of, like, if I can get the quality score of my listing mapped in the right way, the algorithm will read that technical mapping and therefore ensure that you're exposed and relevant to the various types of ways of searching for that product. And they've specifically told us what that needs to be. So that's really exciting and important. I think the other thing that's exciting and important is what I mentioned, which is this, it's called generative engine optimization, which is like, how do you ensure that you're optimizing for all of the AI engines and platforms that are out there? And they look at it in the same way. So schematically, your listings have to be structured in the right way with the right kinds of ways of presenting your content. If you do that, those algorithms will pick up your content and give you visibility. So not only if you structure listings in the correct way, you're getting visibility on Amazon, but you're potentially getting visibility on all of these engines that are out there, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. Right? So if you can match the schema, you therefore have the best chance of getting visibility. This is a document we will give you if you do sign up on the offer that I have at the end of this. We'll give you a document which really explains all the relevant schema aspects that you should be looking for on your within your listing, both for Amazon and then for GEO, which is generative engine optimization. So we have a detailed document that will explain all the pieces there that you should be doing within your listings. And what I want to jump into today is more of a snippet into the Cosmo side of it. So Cosmo is ultimately this technical mapping of your listings to give you the most semantic matching for the relevant types of keywords that are out there. And I wanted to kind of give you some sense of like, what are those attributes and how does that work? And I think the main point here is like, what's exciting about it as well is like, we're moving away from like this ingredient heavy listing, right? It's a whole bunch of like product attributes. We're just stuffing it with all of these aspects of our product. And we're moving into more of, the why, the way of why is this important to customers, the more of the emotional connection, the understanding of your target audience. And we've always talked about this on Amazon, right? Which as a brand, how do you truly understand your target audience and connect with them at their level, explain your product, but explain the true benefits and the why. And what's cool about this is that the algorithm really does lean into that. The more that you can emotively explain, why your product is important for your target audience, that's the area to lead in, and then it will map everything else for the ingredient part and the technical part of how you should map. So so what's cool about that is that the more you understand your customer and their sentiment and what they're looking for, the better you can align your product with that. And when we say things like this, it's nothing new. That's just really, at the end of the day, being a good e-commerce brand. The more you can understand your customer, the better your product is going to be, and obviously the better you're going to communicate to your customers. So it leans into that. And the exciting part of that is that AI is very well structured and set up to do a lot of that deep research for you and find those insights. And those are things we can do to really surface that to you to make sure that you have better product insights and obviously better listings. It's not optional anymore. Like we see it daily. If you're sitting here and you're going, I don't understand why my search volume is dropping, or my overall visits to my listings are dropping, or why am I not performing as well as I did last year? This is part of it. There is a shift, and there's a focus on this new way of doing things that is critical to Amazon. And if you're not future-proofing your listings, at least right now, you potentially will miss out on a lot of Q4 sales. So you need to do that right now. And at a high level, you think about what is the problem that needs to be solved, and how are you doing that, and how are you connecting with your audience? And if you can think through that lens, you're doing a really good job of ensuring that your listing is mapped in the correct way. Okay, so I want to show you some of what that looks like. So this is these are some of the main tips, right? The first one is you want to map to buyer intent. So understanding why your customers are looking for your product. What is the customer sentiment that's out there, that they are looking for in products? That is really important, and you can map that in what they call Cosmo knowledge triples, and I'll show you what that is in a second. You need to think about, and this is also really important for Amazon, you need to think about search and co-buy behavior, right? So search is like, hey, I'm looking for this product, but ultimately there's a co-buy, which is like, hey, if I buy a coffee maker, I'll also be buying coffee beans, right? And so thinking about all these experiences or different types of buyer experiences that can happen and how they map to each other is important. And that's also how Amazon makes more money, right? Because if they can sell you both the coffee maker and the coffee beans, Amazon is going to make more money, right? So And if someone's searching for coffee beans and they can surface a coffee maker in the right way, and you benefit from that even better, right? So you have to think about the co-buy behaviors as well, and what are all the different types of product experiences, behaviors, etc., that can map to your product. Relation and tail types, I'll explain more of that in the Cosmo triples. But I mean, this is really what it is. It's like, and this is the technical mapping, right? Is if you can match for the search query or co-buy, and then understand the relation, which is this functional side of it, and then the tail and how those map together, you can get the quality score to map and get more semantic keyword mapping out there for your listings. I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like in a second. This is it, right? So, you know, the relation and tail type, right? So used for, and then what is the function? So like, you know, peels potatoes easily, right? Or, you know, capable, you know, here it's like capable of, and what is it? Holding 20 pounds. So there's a document here that gives you all of these different types of functional mappings that it's looking for. And if you can take this functional mapping and then write your content in a way that matches to that functional mapping, but does it in a natural language way, it doesn't overstuff the listing with either synonyms or keywords, and obviously makes sense to a user, you're in a really strong position. Now, that's easy to say, but obviously difficult to do. And that's where AI can be really good, and how we've trained our models to say, hey, let's make sure for every product, we understand the functional mapping that needs to happen. And then we coach it to write your listing in the right way to functionally map, but then speak in a natural language way and connect with your customers. And that as a baseline, if you can get that right, and then you can finesse it further as a brand owner on top of that, you know, you're even in a better position than before. So here's a previous listing, right? You can see it's, you know, this is a you know, what do you call it? Like a burger, you know, a burger press, you know, to flatten burgers when you cook it on a barbecue. This is a listing, and you know, it's written, you know, there's some good things here: high quality stainless steel, reduced cooking time, right? Smooth and flat surface. So it's a little bit more product specific in terms of how it's written, and importantly, how can you evolve this to really connect better with customer sentiment, what a customer is looking for, but then functionally map in the right way. So you know, we take your listing like this and we'll run it through our system. This is an internal structure we have. So you know, as we run it through our model, it'll come back and say, hey, is the functional mapping or the Cosmo technical mapping in place? And if not, where are the gaps? And then how do we evolve it further to map, you know, in the right way? So this is kind of what gets run through the system, and then it will eventually develop the copy. And this is not the final product. This is just an insight as to like, hey, how are we mapping this? There's still other additional pieces that happen, but for example, it goes perfect smash every time. Fast, healthy cooking, right? You can see it's mapping it. Versatile for any surface, you know, used in what location. Ideal for bacon, paninis, and more, you know, used with. So it starts to map it in all the right ways. And then, you know, we have other pieces that go into your content creation, right? I'll talk a little bit about that for a second, but some of the most important things are understanding customer sentiment. So based on reviews, what's out there in the marketplace, what are customers actually looking for in that product? And if you have a good understanding of that, which AI is good at researching, you know, hey, these are the things I need to talk about if I have a relevancy so that I can connect with the customer that's looking for the product. So that's a really important one. Understanding where your competitors are focusing and what are they talking about is important. And then your unique selling proposition. How do you stand out from those? And so if you can understand those three things and then bring that together, write a really emotive, good listing in your brand tone, and then map it technically for what's being needed there, and also understand the answer questions, you know, the FAQs that are coming through so that you are better positioned for Rufus. Now you're in a really strong position, right? So those are all of the things that we look at before we develop the final content. So it's evolved a lot more, right? I would say today it's much more technical, and certainly needs a lot more help from things like AI to give you the baseline before you then go ahead and finesse it finally if you need to, rather than where you used to be with listings where you could just write it and, you know, put in, you know, a bunch of keywords and you're in a good position. So it is a lot more sophisticated, but if you use the right tools and right functions, you can really get it done in a perfect way. So that's transitioning into what we have, and this is actually early access that we're telling you guys. This is not live on our website yet. and you have the ability to get this done. It's our AI Cosmo transformation service, where we actually take your listings. It's based on your ASIN. You just submit your hero ASIN, and then we do all of this work in this agentic model that we've built, talking about a lot of the things that I talked about, the deep research, the customer sentiment, understanding your brand. All of these things need to be taken into account, and training all of these little agents that can understand your brand better. We handle that all on our side. We train them all up, and then we bring it together in a final product, and we deliver that to you, both on the content, and we also talk about your images and how you can better position your images in the right way. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, I'm just checking my time here. Okay, so yeah, so I think the first thing I want to say on this is it's enhanced for both human conversion and AI mapping, right? So technically we want to map it, but we spend a lot of time truly understanding how to create your listing for better human conversion. So that deep understanding of the customer sentiment and what customers are looking for, and how your product is unique in the niche on Amazon, and how to really stand out. We do a lot of that work up front, so that when a human reads this, they're getting what they need, right? That's critical. And then obviously the AI mapping is important as well. We use a lot of proprietary data, first party data that we connect with, but then also this multi-agentic model that we built, and then also human experts. So we bring in human experts to check everything. So you're getting our team of humans actually looking at what's being developed to ensure that it's matching exactly for what you need as a product. And again, this will give you visibility not only on Amazon, but in the future on all of these other shopping platforms that are coming out, because schematically they're written in a very similar way. And I think the last point is that it still allows you full control of your brand and content, right? We all know sitting here that Amazon, not only on the algorithmic side, but also they're developing ways to help you to create better, easier content on Amazon. They say things like, hey, just add your website storefront and we'll develop your whole listing. Yes, there's some truth in what they're doing there, but it falls very short of truly building a listing that understands your customer, understands how to differentiate and how to get the best conversions, and importantly puts you in control, right? And I think Amazon's always going to give you the ability, outside of anything that they do, to give you the ability to control what you're doing, right? And so we develop this and we take you 95% of the way there. But again, at the end of the day, you push this yourself, and you can make any tweaks you want, because ultimately you as a brand owner, aided with our expertise and obviously AI, you put in the best position to control exactly what's being told to your customer and how to do it, right? And that's a really important point, and we'll always value that. So this is what you actually get, and I'm going to show you what this product looks like in a second. I'm not going to go too deep on this because we actually do that as part of the VIP. We go into a lot of the reasonings why. But if you want to try the service, and I'll give you a link in a second, you get fully optimized listing copy. We'll show you before and after. What was it before? Why is it falling short? What it is now and why it's better. So we give you all of the technical mapping reasons why. We also do a full analysis of your image carousel. So we do all that deep research. What should your image carousel in your niche look like? What should be the actual order of your images 1 through 7? What should your A+ content look like? What copy should go into all of your images? How should you technically position your product so you connect better with customers? What should be all of your alt text on the back end to ensure that you're mapping for the technology? So we do a lot on the image side. Importantly, we're not giving you the final image, but we're giving you all the inspiration that you need, and the creative requirements and the technical requirements to make the images the best they can be, right? If you're an e-commerce seller, don't rely on AI to develop your images. But we do give you prompts so you can inspirationally see what those images should look like. I'll show you that in a second. We give you the CSV so you can upload it. And then, it's a pay per product service per ASIN. And we turn around in just a few days and we send it over to you, and you can do as many ASINs as you want. And you don't even need a subscription. You literally just pay for this. So it's a pretty cool service that we're bringing to everyone. We're trying to expedite the ability for everyone to be future-proofed and in a great position before Q4 really hits, so that you have the best listings for both AI visibility and human conversion. So that's why we're offering you the special early deal, so you can get this done. Here's a listing. You'll see this in the example. This is an automatic cat feeder. It's a pretty good listing, written last year with great images. I can actually just show you, and Lizette, just let me know how I'm going on time, but I'll just show you guys what, if this is a listing, right? You can see here's the listing.
You're all good.
Okay, great. A pretty good listing, pretty good design, images, copy, programmable timed feeding, easy to use and maintain, appropriate capacity for food storage, right? So that's our, dual power supply. You can see it's written in the typical way that we would write listings for Amazon. We have, a bunch of A+ content, pretty decent listing, in general. So we've taken that as an example and we've actually fed that through our solution. And you get two of these. You get two PDFs with a lot of information in there. So you'll see at the top end, it gives you a summary of what you get in it. But then we actually show you the listings, right? We show you the current and the optimized. Again, we talk about a lot of this in the VIP session where I go into all the reasons why, but you can see things in here like it was programmable time feeding. Now it's worry-free feeding schedule, easy to use and maintain, healthy weight management, days of peace of mind. So never miss a meal again. So it's finding the sentiment and the emotion of what the actual target audience is looking for, and then obviously transforms that into features, benefits with all of the mapping to really, make sure that we match for all of the things that are being thought about as the target audience for this, right? So you're going to get ultimately better conversion as well as obviously better visibility. So we give you the description, back in search terms, and then we go into all of the mapping and the reasons why, right? So feature benefits, we'll show you how we've addressed all of that. We'll go into the mapping, right? How everything's mapped. We'll go into the algorithm, showing you all the main keywords you should be mapping for. And then we go into your brand and voice alignment, your USP. There's a whole bunch in here, right? So if you are really interested in understanding more of this, clearly, obviously, if you buy the product, you can look at the examples on there. Or if you participate in the VIP session, we'll get more into the technical aspects of how everything here is mapped and why it's important. So that's on the content side. And we do a very similar thing on the image side. Again, like what AI is very good at is doing deep research. So we do the deep research on Amazon and beyond to make sure that we can understand your brand, your USP, customer sentiment, and your competitive landscape. And then how do you stand out and look different? And how do we, create your images? We know that customers buy with their eyes. How do we make sure that we structure you correctly, right? So we talk about all of the customer sentiment here. Like this is literally data that has been researched and found like this is what customers care about. And then we show you a landscape of you versus your competitors. And then we get into every single image, right? And we show you, hey, what should your image be mapped to like from a technical perspective? What copy should go into it? And then we give you an actual image prompt that you can add into your favorites, AI and actually get, a drawing view of what it should look like that you can give to your team as well for inspiration, right? So, and then we do that for A+ content as well down the bottom as well. We map out your A+ content. So, these are kind of some of the prompts. Like if you want to put the prompt in, you'll see it comes back like this. So we're giving you a line drawing of exactly, hey, how your product should be angled, what should be highlighted in the image. And then we give you copy overlays that go in there, right? So if you have a creative person, this is the ultimate brief that you can give them. It'll tell you what you should put into every single image, what should be the order of your images, and inspiration as to the angle and what you should call out. And then we give you copy overlays that go into it as well. So it's a very cool product that if your designers follow this, they're going to get everything right and you'll have amazing images. And certainly you can take it further than this and you can prompt AI to get actual images. We don't recommend that at this point. I think your creative team will do a better job than AI for sure. So do that at this point. Okay, I will go back to, this is the actual page where you'll be able to enter the information. I just want to show you some final slides here. This is the offer. So it's early access right now. We've offered it to some of our customers. You guys are very close second. And there's only 100 spots open. So, if you can act on this right now, you will secure a spot. What you get for that is you get obviously our technology, our team checking everything, and you get those PDFs, the CSV, and everything that you need to ensure that you can upload the best content and create the best images. It's $100 per ASIN. So if you add that ASIN, your hero ASIN is best. So you can do it at the parent level or child. But what is your main ASIN for your listing? Into that, and you will get this back in detail that you can upload from a content perspective. And if you want to make image adjustments, your creative team can do that and execute on that, and you will have an amazing listing that's future-proofed for the algorithm and obviously enhanced for human conversion, which is really critical at this time. How do you stand out best? This is how you get it. Go to zonguru.link/Cosmo100. So zonguru.link/Cosmo100. And you will be the first in that list to get this. And it is USA market only. I want to preface this right now for this 100. It's USA market only. You can sign up right now. We will hold you for the next markets that are coming out, which is Europe, UK, Canada, and Australia. And that is being released very soon. So probably within the next couple of weeks that will come out. But right now it is USA only. So if you have active listings on Amazon.com, submit it and we will optimize it for you. If you have them on Europe or any other country, submit it and we will keep that credit and hold that spot for you for the next couple of weeks when that comes out. Or you can do this at a later stage. And that's what I have for today.
Perfect. Thank you so much, John. How are you feeling with all of the changes going on Amazon? Do you feel sellers are a little bit lost in this topic of Cosmo and kind of restructuring their product listings a little bit, or are things already getting a little bit more under control because people like you and other people we have presenting at Seller First Online as well are educating sellers how to kind of approach everything step by step?
I think in general, sellers are feeling a little bit lost because, you know, there's no communication actively come out from Amazon saying, hey, this is exactly what needs to be done and start doing this and change everything, right? They're not doing that. And mainly they're doing it because they're not doing that because they are actively trying to shift to create a new AI customer user experience of how to shop. But they obviously want to make sure that listings are still, you know, getting relevancy, getting visibility, because if they drop that and they don't get it right, they ultimately lose out on money, right? Because people won't find the products they're looking for. So they've got to be really careful in that. And you know, sellers are ultimately feeling a little bit lost in that way of aligning with the algorithm, and also because it's very technical. You know, there's some technical mapping that needs to be done. So that is why in our approach, we're future-proofing your listings by giving you the technical mapping for Cosmo and Rufus, but we're also, you know, making sure that there is the A9 relevancy of keywords, right? So we're still using keywords on fire, you know, brand, you know, analytics data, product search query performance data. We're looking at all of those to ensure that we have the best set of relevant keywords and how to ensure that those are seeded within your listing in the right natural way without, you know, obviously overstuffing keywords, using synonyms and semantics when we can. So we're doing that, but we're layering all the other pieces, right? So you're getting literally the best of both worlds in that way of structuring it. So it is absolutely future-proof for where it needs to go. So yeah, you know, in general, Amazon is not doing a great job there of helping to ensure that customers feel supported, because, you know, the technical mapping of how to do it is a little bit of a technical, you know, you really need AI to help you in that front. And so it's good that they released their technical requirements document, and we've obviously used that and tested that and made sure that we can map it in the right way.
Okay. So John, next up, you mentioned the VIP session a few times, so I would like to now take a moment to introduce the VIP package, which we have put together for Seller First Online participants. It's an additional package you can get from the link under the video. It has 20 advanced expert sessions about different topics. Those are not available anywhere else. Our experts recorded those only for you. And in addition to the expert sessions, we also included 2 bonuses for you. So the first bonus material is that you will also receive the recordings from the European Seller Conference 2024. So this means you're going to have access to all of the speaker content we had at the biggest physical conference Orange Klik is organizing every year. And as a second bonus material, you're going to have an exclusive masterclass by Brandon Young about product discovery, validation, and AI design as well. If I'm not mistaken, it has about 30 different sessions in it, so it's really a big masterclass and very valuable for every seller. And as I said, of course, every expert also included a session for you in the VIP package, including John. So John, could you give us a short overview? What did you exactly share in your VIP session? Because I'm going to give them like a little sneak peek, not reveal too much, but...
Yeah, what I did in the session is I literally took the reporting that we have and we dove deep into the technical reasons why. So I take each section and I explain it to you from the algorithmic perspective, from the e-commerce experts perspective, why, each section is measured, mapped, and the technical understanding behind it. So if you're one of those brand owners who wants to truly understand all the different pieces, why, your listing has to be structured in a certain way to map for the algorithmic changes that are happening, this will be really helpful to you. And you can literally use that when you are either checking the content we created, or if you create content yourself, you can start to use those pieces and actually map it yourself and have the deep understanding as well. So very useful. And I think, yeah, it's landing very well with customers and with agencies, because what's good about this is we're not just saying, hey, this is the new thing, this is what you should put into your listing. We explain the reasons why in a lot of detail. And that's really useful so that brand owners, agencies have a lot more confidence when they push these listings that, they're putting their best foot forward.
All right. So let's see what our viewers are saying. So Corey is watching us and he said in his previous business, it was all about keywords. I'm thinking of starting a new business. Finding the balance of AI and keyword optimization is exactly what I need. So glad you found your way to do this session today. And then he also has a question. Let me pull it up for you. So he asked, can I implement your tool for a new product if I provide a list of 5 to 10 top competitors? Because he's looking for ways how to differentiate on a market.
Yeah, so good question. Thanks, Corey, for that. The first thing I'd say is yeah, absolutely. I think I kind of mentioned it in the conversation earlier, but it is more technical in terms of how you can map it. And that's okay, because we have AI that can help, right? And so I think leveraging, as an e-commerce brand, leveraging AI is critical right now and in the future. And if you truly understand how to leverage AI and you have the deep contextual understanding of how to create a great brand that can connect with customers, have that customer sentiment, etc., you can really use AI to give you the right answers so that you can put that into your content. We clearly figure that out on our side. We have all these multi-agents that you can now leverage that are experts. But that will ultimately give you the right perfect listing that's mapped in the right way schematically for Amazon and beyond. In terms of answering your question, right now the service is about enhancing current listings. So if your listing is live on Amazon, that's the place where you can say, hey, give us the ASIN and then we'll run it through our system. If you're not live on Amazon yet, you won't be able to use this tool. But again, if you want to use it, just there's nothing stopping you just grabbing one of your best competitors' ASINs that's in your universe and just submitting that, and we'll do all that work and give it to you, not the competitor. We'll give it to you and you can see how it looks, right? So there are ways that you can use it in product research and truly understanding the space. And we account for all the competitors in the niche. So if you're not live on Amazon, just submit an ASIN of your choice that you like as a brand that is as similar as you can be, and that should give you a lot of information. Otherwise, get yourself live on Amazon and then you can use our service. You're on mute, Lizette.
Thank you very much. We have one more question from Corey. So he wants to have your opinion about if Amazon is a bit scared that OpenAI, etc., will create their own stores. Is that why they are trying to be the first source for research over an LLM? Do they want to have the researcher traffic? So what do you think about that?
Yes, so I think Amazon has traditionally been an intent-based platform, right? So you know what you want, you search for it, you find it, you buy it. And with the advent of Rufus specifically, they're trying to account for the research aspect, right? So I'm going camping, what are the types of products I should be looking for, or whatever that is. So they are definitely wanting to capture that audience. And they need to, because if they don't create that experience on Amazon, people are going to be doing that off of Amazon, which they are doing currently, right? So you go into Google, you're typing in or ChatGPT, you're using that for your recommendations, mainly because Amazon Rufus at the moment is falling a little bit short of being up to speed with exactly how good ChatGPT or other platforms are. But they're going to rapidly improve that, because, as I said, if they don't improve and capture that experience, they're going to lose that. And there is a fear from Amazon, because it's being mentioned today, every day, that these AI platforms are going to be having their own shopping cart and shopping experiences, right? Where you can find a recommendation and then potentially have a shopping cart that you can use on that platform. So why not? So if they're going to do that, that puts Amazon in a real sticky point, right? And so who knows what kind of negotiations are happening on the back end. But hopefully there's an integration between Amazon and these platforms, so that if they do have some kind of shopping cart experience that can integrate with Amazon, I'm sure there's going to be something like that. But at least, if the good part is that, from what we see schematically, if you structure your listings in the new way on Amazon, you get visibility in these platforms, right? You can go into ChatGPT right now and type in, "Hey, I'm looking for a knee brace. What's a recommended product?" Some of those recommendations will be Amazon listings, right? So they are finding those and giving visibility. So the more visibility you can get, the better.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, John, for joining me today and also educating our viewers about how they should approach their product listings in today's age. And I hope to see you soon again on our channel.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for putting this on. As always, I think it's really helpful for every brand and agency out there to get the latest. And we appreciate everything that you guys do for Sellerfest. And good luck to everyone out there as we go into Q4. Again, at the very least, test a listing, get results from our tool, look at what you have, A/B test it if you want. But I highly recommend that you future-proof right now, get all your listings done, because this switch is going to become more and more impactful, and you need to be on top of it, not only for Q4, but certainly going into the new year.
All right. Thank you very much, John. And now I would like to invite you to watch another session where you will learn why behavioral marketing matters more and more on Amazon and for the SEO of your product listings.